Now at 6, an 8-year-old child shot in Cleveland. What we know about how it happened, and is this child okay? Plus, do you recognize this man? It's the sketch of someone police think assaulted a local priest in a confessional. We'll give you a closer look at this guy in just a minute. TAMIR'S Rice would have been 14 today. Find out what his mom told me in an exclusive and riveting sit-down interview. And they've done it for 4 years in a row. But how can riding a big wheel ever get old? Our very own Super Dave helping to raise money for charity.
From the station that sees the possible, this is Channel 3 News, brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. You'll be saying, I love my windows. And now, Channel 3 News at 6.
Good evening. Breaking news as we come on the air tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Wale Aliyu. An 8-year-old boy shot inside a home on the west side. Channel 3's Hillary Golston is in the newsroom tonight. Hillary, how is that boy doing?
Back to you, Wale.
Thanks, Hillary. Also on the west side, but this time in the suburbs, police are on the hunt for, as Carly said yesterday, a man who assaulted a priest in the place you confess sins, not commit them. This is the composite sketch. Police gave this to us just today. The suspect assaulted a priest after asking for confession, police say. During confession at the Rocky River Church, he allegedly pulled out a handgun, and that's when it happened. The priest had to go to the hospital. He's back home now. You can read a full description of the suspect right now on WKYC.com. To LORAIN now, where police are looking for this man. Authorities say he robbed a bank this morning. The FBI releasing this image. You can get a good look at the suspect. Take a look at your screen. It happened around 9 a.m. at the First Federal Savings Bank. That's on East 42nd Street. Nobody was hurt. We're not sure if the suspect had a weapon. Anyone with information, call LORAIN police or the Cleveland FBI. One robbery suspect on the run, another police have got their hands on tonight. Let's move down to Summit County for this story. This man is believed to be a serial bank robber, but now he's locked up. His last alleged incident was an armed robbery at the Citizens Bank. That was in Sagamore Hills yesterday. Police from 5 different agencies helped track the suspect down. You want to know where he was? At a gas station with a broken down car. When they got him, officers also found $4,000 and something that looked like a pistol. It turned out to be a BB gun. Today, TAMIR'S Rice would have turned 14 years old. 19 months ago, a Cleveland police officer shot and killed Rice as he held an airsoft gun. And this billboard now speaks to what comes next. The family has a petition out there with more than 70,000 signatures. Family members are asking the Department of Justice to launch an investigation. The petition also raised $6 grand. The family used that money to put up the billboard on I-480 West for a month-long campaign. Today, family members won't be doing anything public. They just want to come together privately. Hear what TAMIR'S mother told me in our one-on-one interview.
Our family has been through a journey.
Samaria Rice says she wanted to have that billboard up during the RNC, but those spaces were all sold out. Up in the air, getting up into the sky can change your perspective. Hundreds of kids today got a chance to see Cleveland and the surrounding area in a whole new way. It's called Kids in Flight over at Burke Lakefront Airport. They've been doing this for 13 years now. Critically ill children get airplane rides around Cleveland. 6 volunteer pilots and 85 other volunteers made the event a reality. All right, I think most people would agree access to quality health care is so important for quality of life. And today, organizers of a huge health expo in Cleveland went above and beyond. The goal, to make sure others get the help they need. As Tiffany Tarpley explains, the event covered almost every aspect of life.
3 News.
Thanks, Tiffany. Now, several organizations worked together to make the event a success, even the Cavalier Girls and Scream Team there to add a little flavor. I just had a chance to speak with Councilman Zach Reed. He estimates more than 300 people came out, 125 of them got medical screenings, and 100 left with a free haircut. Coming up, more than 20 dead.
You're watching Channel 3 News at 6.
And new developments tonight in Britain's historic vote to leave the European Union. Leaders in Scotland say they will immediately start talks with EU nations. They want to find a way to stay a member, despite the vote to leave. Voters in Scotland were strongly in favor of remaining in the group. Even a new referendum on Scottish independence from the United Kingdom is back on the table.
A second
And here's some more fallout from the vote. The number of people in Northern Ireland, part of the UK, seeking Irish citizenship is on the rise. Most people born in Northern Ireland can also claim citizenship in neighboring Ireland. A majority of Northern Ireland voters wanted to stay in the EU. 23 dead and tens of thousands without power. Deadly flooding in West Virginia is being called a once-in-a-thousand-year event. It may be some time before people dry out. NBC's Morgan Radford has the story. 44 counties are still in a state of emergency, but no flash floods are in the forecast. The Coast Guard has suspended its search for the family in Florida last seen on a sailboat in the Gulf of Mexico. Ace Kimberly and his 3 teenage children disappeared Sunday. They just left Sarasota in a 29-foot sailboat. They were headed to Fort Myers, where a relative was going to help them repair the boat. The last time anyone heard from them was Sunday afternoon. Kimberly called his brother to say they were in 6-foot seas and were trying to survive. During the search, the Coast Guard says it recovered the bodies of Kimberly and his daughter. The 2 teenage boys are still missing. Olympic host city Rio de Janeiro with another black eye. Remember, we're inching closer and closer to the Summer Games in August. The World Anti-Doping Agency has suspended its lab in Rio. The group says the lab's accreditation was called into question. Apparently, it didn't conform to international standards. It's not clear what the lab did wrong. Authorities are working with the lab to get things up and running. Next, a gorgeous start to this weekend, and tomorrow the heat is on. Just how high will temperatures go? Greg D lets you know in his forecast next. And coming up at 7 on Politics and People, Tom Barris goes between the lines with local Democrats and Republicans. Find out what each party is doing during the RNC locally. And a little fun for Senator Sherrod Brown. He's settling a Cavs bet with the Golden State colleague. Again, that's at 7 after nightly news right here on Channel 3.
And now, the Mentor Mitsubishi and Mentor Kia Sports Report.
All right, Cleveland, now that the Cavs have won it all, it's time to put 100% focus on the Indians. While you were stressing out and then crowding the streets, the Tribe continued to win. And they are back after a day off to start a 3-game series in Detroit. Tonight, it's the start of a 10-game road trip through Detroit, Atlanta, and Toronto. That's the same path the Cavs took to win the East. The Indians have won 6 straight after a back-to-back series sweeps at home. They lead the Royals by 3 games in the Central. The Tribe have a record of 41-30, and they've been in first place 20 straight days. They lead the Tigers by 4 games, so this is an important series. They need to keep the wins coming, certainly need to avoid a sweep. And after struggling with the Tigers in many seasons, the Indians own Detroit this year. They do. They are 6-0 versus the Tigers. 2 sweeps for the first time they've done that since 2008. They've outscored them 38-12. The Indians have won 11 of 13 against them going back to last year. They haven't finished a season above 500 versus the Tigers since 2012. All right, Tigers have won 4 straight. Here's your pitching matchup for tonight. Danny Salazar on the mound for the Indians. First pitch tonight at 7:08 p.m. Salazar has only allowed 4 earned runs in the month of June. The Cavs ended up making a move and getting a player out of last night's draft, even though they went into the draft without any picks. They acquired the rights to Kay Felder. He was the number 54 pick in the 2016 NBA draft. They got him from the Atlanta Hawks for cash consideration. He's a 5'9" point guard from Oakland University. Felder was the only player in the country to rank in the top 5 this past season in both scoring, 24.4 a game, and assists. Undersized, yes, he is, but an athletic scorer. He led the nation by averaging 9.3 assists as a junior. The Cavs have ties to Oakland, you know that, so it only makes sense. And you figure he's got a great shot to make the team. All right, we know LeBron James is not going to Rio. Now we wait on Kyrie Irving. Uncle Drew. Team USA is hopeful Uncle Drew will compete in the Olympics, but he is still deciding if Irving decides to join Team USA. It will be a reunion with his coach in college. Coach K will be coaching in his final Olympic Games. The final 12-man roster will be announced next week. I think he does it, but we'll see. All right, the Browns signed one of their 1,000 draft picks. I'm kidding, of course, but by doing so, they are down to just one more. The Browns signed linebacker Joe Schobert today. He played at Wisconsin, drafted in the 4th round. Schobert played in 45 games in college. Big Ten linebacker of the year. The Browns have now signed 13 of their 14 draft picks.